Are you battling chronic symptoms that just won't go away, like fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, or any kind of sensitivities that seem to take over your life? Or maybe you're stuck in what feels like a never-ending battle with your own body, waking up day after day, feeling completely exhausted, mentally foggy, and dealing with constant pain. And maybe you've carefully followed the advice and you've tried all sorts of diets, anti-inflammatory, and you've seen specialist after specialist and gone through endless tests, and maybe they've all come back normal. Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the key that finally changed everything for me, and it can you too. And this is understanding the power of brain rewiring. And what if the real key to unlocking your health isn't taking another pill or some super strict plan, but actually hidden deep within your own mind? Well, I know how hopeless it can actually feel, even when every single treatment fails and nothing seems to make any difference. So, I've been there, and so is Sarah, one of my clients. She actually suffered for years with symptoms from mold illness, and she spent thousands of dollars trying to figure it out, and she would drive across the country to see each specialist, and she still just kept getting worse. But once she learned how to reset her nervous system through brain rewiring, everything shifted. And today she's thriving, spending quality time with her family, and she's no longer trapped in a cycle of survival. So the good news is there is a way out, and I want to share that with you today. So think about this. For so many people struggling with chronic symptoms, the brain itself, which is actually designed to keep us safe, well, it can actually, and this is without meaning to, it can create kind of a feedback loop, and that this can keep the sickness actually going. So it's not that your symptoms aren't real, they're absolutely real. But the reason that they stay around is it might not have to do with, you having any kind of disease or any kind of danger. It's actually these deep brain patterns and a nervous system that's actually stuck in high gear. So if you're watching this, you probably know this story by heart, and you understand that crushing fatigue that makes even the smallest things feel like you climbed a mountain, and the brain fog that clouds your thinking and steals your focus. Well, the persistent, you might be dealing with pain. A lot of people have pain. Not everybody does, but if you do, you understand that can just dictate your entire life. Maybe it's digestive issues or any kind of weird sensitivities to foods or chemicals, or just this general feeling of being unwell that you just can't shake. You've probably become your own expert on your condition, haven't you? Yeah, that was me. I studied everything relentlessly because nobody else was going to help me. But if you're like me, you tried it all. Detoxes, supplements, different therapies. You've seen a whole parade of doctors. And each one of them had a different theory of what was going on, but no real answers at all. So it's incredibly frustrating to pour this much time and energy and hope into things that might help, only to end up right exactly where you started. And this can make you feel so alone, just like nobody gets it, and maybe even make you even doubt yourself when the medical tests say that there's nothing wrong. I've been there. I know exactly how that feels. And so many people in this spot hear those awful words. Ooh, it's all in your head, or, well, everything came back normal. Your tests are normal, even though the suffering is completely physical and very, very real. This whole journey can just wear you down and make you feel pretty hopeless. Your nervous system actually plays a huge role in chronic symptoms. So, when it's stuck in fight, flight, freeze mode, and this can be due to many reasons, and it can be due to trauma, a physical, a mental, or emotional. It can be due to like ongoing illness or long-term stress. Well, your body can start to break down. This next part might be a little tough to take in, but it's where things can actually be really empowering. Your own brain might intentionally keep you stuck in this cycle of illness. Now, this isn't about you blaming yourself, and it definitely doesn't mean that your illness is imaginary. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's really about, well, it's about understanding how a powerful part of our biology works. Our brains are actually wired for survival, and a key player in the limbic system is the brain's emotion center, or its main threat detector. And it's what actually kicks off that fight, flight, freeze response. But when we go through long periods of stress or trauma or any kind of chronic infection, or maybe it's a virus or any kind of exposure to toxins, the limbic system can get stuck on high alert mode, just like a smoke alarm that keeps screaming even after the smoke is gone. And this means that your body might constantly be flooded with stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine. And this can signal to your whole body to constantly cause you inflammation. And this can lead to fatigue, pain, cognitive issues, sensitivities. And your nervous system essentially learns these patterns of overreacting. This is where the concept of calming down the limbic system and rewiring the brain becomes so vital. So it uses the science of neuroplasticity, where your brain's ability to rewire itself. And if your brain can learn these patterns of illness, patterns of fear, patterns of exhaustion, the good news is it can learn patterns of health, safety, and peace. And the truth is, you can teach your brain a new way. You can rewire your response to stress, triggers, and to your environment. So it's important to get that this doesn't mean that things aren't contributing to chronic conditions. But when your stress response is constantly out of balance, it can actually make your symptoms worse, and it can actually hinder your healing. So for a long time, you may have heard this, but it was thought that the adult brain was fixed. But neuroscience has actually shown us something amazing, that our brains are incredibly adaptable, and that they can change their structure and function throughout our lives. And this is the power of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is actually how stroke patients relearn to move. So it's really, really powerful. It's how trauma survivors actually regain their peace. And it's how you can overcome persistent symptoms. And this is simply by just creating new, healthy neural pathways and slowly quieting out the old ones. Just think about learning a new skill like playing an instrument, or maybe even driving a car. So just for example, at first it's tough, but with practice, it becomes smoother and a lot easier, and you don't even have to think about it. Well, that's neuroplasticity. So just as the brain can learn patterns that lead to illness, it can actually learn patterns that actually lead to health. So if old brain pathways are keeping your system stuck on high alert, neuroplasticity actually means that you have the power to create new, healing, and healthier pathways. And your thoughts, your focus, and your daily habits literally shape your brain. So, understanding this shifts you from feeling permanently broken to realizing that you have an incredible built-in ability to change and to heal. So you hold a lot more power than you may realize. So if your limbic system is imbalanced, and you might have a sensitized brain pathway that are contributing to your chronic symptoms, well, it can make sense that we need a way to consciously change these processes. And this is actually the core of brain rewiring. But simply knowing this isn't enough. You need a clear path. This is where a structured program like my Brain Rewiring 360 course can come into play. It's designed to guide you step by step in calming down the limbic system and actually leveraging neuroplasticity. So studies and countless personal stories just like Sarah's show that by calming down the nervous system and creating new healthy brain pathways through a dedicated approach, real symptom improvements are possible, especially for various chronic conditions. So you might be wondering, how do you actually rewire your brain? And it's not all about positive thinking, although positive thinking can definitely help. It's about consistently applying specific targeted methods in a structured way. And this is often the missing piece for so many people. And I know how frustrating it can be, because it can be really complicated trying to figure this out on your own. And this is why I created the Brain Rewiring 360 program. And it is a comprehensive roadmap that'll teach you the exact techniques so that you can become aware of unhelpful thought patterns, and you can interrupt the stress response, and you can systematically build new neural pathways for a healthy, more resilient nervous system. And it takes the guesswork out of the equation and gives you the tools and support to effectively rewire your brain. So yeah, I would love to have you. I'll put the link in the description below. So if you're interested in learning more about neuroplasticity, then it's just amazing. I will link that in the description. So you may be wondering what you realistically can expect from undertaking a brain rewiring journey. Well, the main goal is a less reactive and a more resilient nervous system. So people using these approaches, usually they will report benefits such as a calmer stress response, increased energy and stamina, brighter mood and overall well-being, reduced intensity and frequency of physical symptoms like chronic pain, fatigue, and definitely a decrease in food sensitivities and chemical sensitivities. And it's crucial to have realistic expectations because brain rewiring it's not a quick fix, because it does require active participation and commitment and, of course, patience, because it doesn't happen overnight. But for so many people, this is the solution. And our scientific understanding is always growing, but the foundational science of neuroplasticity and the mind-body connection is well established. So yeah, I'd love to have you join my course. I'll put it in the link in the description below. And I'm just wondering if you've ever heard of brain rewiring. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. So let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.